My heart's racing right now. I feel so sick. Oh my god. I can't my top, but I'm like shaking. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Like, anyways, okay. So it was National Coming Out Day yesterday, and I wanted to talk about my coming out story. I feel like this is something I really want to talk about for a while. I don't know. I've kind of wanted to tell other people about it, but I don't know. I figured I'd share mine in case anybody was struggling or wanted to talk about their situation or was trying to find somebody in a similar situation. But yeah, if I look down, I have it kind of written on my phone because I know I'm gonna freeze up and forget stuff. So I wrote it out on. Ooh, okay. I started filming this earlier, and then Amy walked in, and we went to get food. So I'm just gonna pick up kind of where I left off. I kind of just made a little introduction to it, which wasn't that great. Let's see. I don't. If it's loud, it's because it's the middle of the day, so everybody's going to or from classes. So there's kind of commotion in the hallway or people talking outside, and there's stuff going on. And yeah. So okay. This kind of goes back to 2015. Yeah. Like I said, there's commotion outside. In 2015, I was dating this guy. I'm not gonna say names because privacy reasons, and I don't know if he would really want me to, and I'm not friends with him or anything now. I don't talk to him at all. I kind of prefer it to be that way. I was dating him, and we broke up for reasons I'm not really gonna share. After that, I was kind of before that, I kind of questioned everything. I mean, I feel like everybody does at one point, but I was questioning it, and I didn't really know what sexuality was. I just figured everyone liked girls or guys. I would like a guy because I'm a girl, that kind of thing, total heteronormative stuff. That's what I grew up knowing. Didn't know anything else. I was very oblivious to everything, including all of that. And I remember 8th grade, I think it was. It's 5 years ago. One of my friends told me that she was bi. That was the first time I ever really heard about anything, and I was just I pretended I knew what it was because I didn't want her to think I was stupid. And she kind of explained it to me because she kind of figured I didn't know what it was. And I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever, that's cool. And after that, I kind of realized that I've never had an official guy crush. Yeah, I can think a guy's cute, but I've never really had feelings for a guy. And the more I thought about it, I was it's probably just the guys that live in this town, whatever. Probably still little, it was 8th grade. It's whatever, not a big deal. And then I started dating a guy, and I probably asked all my friends. I had to ask them if I should date him before I dated him, and I dated for 2 years and convinced myself that I was in love with him and that I was going to marry him. And then while we were dating, I had a few crushes, and I pretended I didn't. So, and he never knew about it. I never told him. I didn't tell anyone. It's kind of just like between me and myself. And like I'd be like, ooh. Or like I'd not like ooh, but like I'd think of a girl I knew as like, you know, more than a friend or whatever. And I'd be like, I wouldn't mind dating her. And I'd be like, wait, you have a boyfriend. You can't do that. And then after we broke up, I had like kind of a crush at the time. Like not really. It was more like me kind of like getting over him. So I kind of like forced myself onto other people. And I remember this day distinctly. Like I was hanging out with my ex and my best friend, who was kind of like our best friend at the time. He was my ex and my best friend. So he's like both of ours, and like we were hanging out, and my phone. We were hanging out, and we were talking about how like everyone's a little bi because everybody can admit that like people of the same sex are like attractive or whatever. So everyone's just a little bi because we were sophomores. So you know, that's just what we thought. And I mean, it's kind of true, but like not really because you know. But I called him after I got home, after I talked myself up enough to be able to call him, and I was shaking and I was like about to cry and like about to throw up, and I called him and I was like, oh my god, I'm so scared, but I need to tell you something. And he's just, tell me. It's like, just tell me. So I was like, I'm bi. And he's like, okay, whatever. It's like, cool, well, I'm gay, hi. And I was like, I'm literally gonna throw up. And he's like, yeah, I know, I felt the same way. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. And at this time I obviously thought I was bi because I just had a boyfriend, so obviously I was bi, like, you know, because I worked that way. Like I had a boyfriend, so therefore I couldn't just be like full on gay. Like I had to be bi, and I didn't know about like anything besides that. And over like the summer of that year, I kind of had like a serious crush, and it led to something, but I don't want to just like, I don't know. Over that summer, I had a crush, and I told him about it, and I was just like, hey, I like this person. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. And didn't really think much about it. It was just like, whatever. And I didn't really think much about it. And when we went back to school in September, I had this thing with like a guy, and I was just, the entire time I wasn't okay with it, and I was just like, no, I don't want this. And then he asked me out, and I took 2 weeks to answer him. And I don't know, it's weird because I can't really, like, I don't know how to like describe everything without like saying names or like saying like exactly what happened, because that's iffy. And I was talking to one of my friends, and it was pouring, and he was having like a hard time getting over one of his exes, or like dealing with one of his exes, and he needed me, and it was pouring, so we went down to like our meeting spot, which was this pond near, like, between our houses. It was kind of like halfway between our houses, and it was just the pond, so we were sitting there, and it was pouring, and we weren't sitting there, we were standing there in the rain just talking, and there was like a skunk behind us, and we were both like terrified of like dying and being sprayed, and it was an event. And I told, he's the different best friend than the one I was talking about before, and I told him, I was like, I'm in love with somebody, but I was like, but somebody else asked me out, and I don't know what to do because I don't want to like hurt them, but I was like, I don't know what to do. And he was basically just like telling me that I need to do what was best for me, and like basically saying that if I was not okay with that relationship, then I should not be in that relationship, especially if I like somebody else that's not that person. And I mean, that's all common sense, but like at the time it was just like, I didn't want to hurt anyone, and I didn't want to, like, hurt myself, or, like, I didn't want to, like, take any chances or, like, miss any chances that I would have had, or whatever. I was kind of just like, what, maybe I do like him. And then he's like, if you haven't answered him in 2 weeks, then you don't like him. And if you thought about it this much and you think you're in love with somebody else, you don't like him. And I was just like, okay. So I went home, and while I was drenched, texted the other guy, and I was like, I can't do this. I don't like you like this. It's like, I can't hurt you. I can't use you or anything. Like, I can't do that. I just know. I was like, and I like you as a friend. I was like, and I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to, like, I don't know. I was like, I can't do this. And he was completely understanding. Was just like, okay, well, do what's best for you. He's like, I like you, but it's like, I'm not gonna force you to do it or force you to be with me or whatever. And I was just like, okay. He's like, you're a good guy. And then basically never talked to him again, because we were in the same class, and he basically dropped out. And I'm pretty sure it's because of me, and I feel so bad about it, but it's okay. And then, let's see, that was like September, October-ish. A month later, I started dating somebody, and then we were dating for 6 months, and only my friends and my younger brother knew. And I told my younger brother as, like, a joke to just see what he would say. I was just like, hey, I'm dating her, and he's like, no, you aren't. And I was just like, yeah, I am. He's like, no, you aren't. And it was kind of funny. And I really only, like, told him as a joke. But we were dating at the time. And then we were dating for 6 months, and then we got outed. And I remember being, like, terrified that we were gonna get in trouble, or that, so I was at her house for, like, the weekend, so I was scared I'd be sent home, or, like, something would happen, or we wouldn't be able to, like, talk to each other anymore. And, like, I just remember being terrified and so scared, and, like, I was just sobbing and, like, crying for, like, hours. And I pretty much didn't stop crying for, like, a week after. But that night I called one of my other friends, told him what happened, and he basically calmed me down and was like, hey, you're okay. You're not gonna die. You're fine. It's like, if you two really like each other, you'll work it out. Like, this is not the end. And I was just like, okay. And I called my sister, and I told her about it, and she's like, yeah, I know. She's like, you didn't hide it very well. She's like, I knew from, like, the beginning that you guys were dating. And I was just like, okay, well, okay. And then I went home, pretty much cried the entire way home. My mom, I, like, pulled myself away from my mom because I was scared to tell her, scared of, like, what she would think. And I was, like, terrified of telling her. So I made up some stupid story. I don't even remember it. I made up some stupid story that I told her. As for why I was crying, and she was just like, oh, okay. And she told my older brother. So, and, like, later that night, I texted him, and I was like, hey, can I talk to you? And then he basically brought me out to his car, and I sat in the passenger seat. He sat in the driver's seat, and I, like, from all the coming out videos that I've seen, I, like, I felt like I had to be crying, or, like, I don't know, I just felt like at that point I should have been crying. Like, I was really confused and, like, really, like, out of it, because I was just, it was such a long, like, emotional day. And I basically told him, and he was just like, oh, well, okay. And then he basically just talked to me and calmed me down and just told me, like, it was okay, and that if I ever needed anything, he would help me out, or if I wanted him to be there when I told other people, then he would be there, and he was like as supportive as you possibly can be. And I was scared of telling him because I didn't know what he would think, because he's always been like my buddy, and like, you know, he's always been there for me and like protected me from everything. So I was scared to tell him because I didn't know what he was gonna think. But the way he took it was just like amazing, and lifted like 400 pounds off my shoulders. And then I think within like a week my mom knew. I think it was like that Wednesday. I think I told him on like Sunday or Monday. I think that Wednesday I told my mom. But to tell my mom, she wanted to go to the beach because it was like a nicer day out. And it was in May. So it was like kind of cold, but like at the same time it was nice. So we went to the beach, and on the way there I kind of like hinted at it and was like, I don't remember what I said, but I used one of my friends as an excuse. And I told her one of my friends was saying something, and I made it relate to me in a way. So I was just like, oh, one of my friends said that something like this, and I really don't remember what I said. But I just know I said something, and I was basically just told her that I was dating this girl, and she was just like, oh, and then just didn't say anything. And she was just silent until we got to the beach, and then we walked like pretty much the entire length of the beach before she said anything. And then she just said that it was hard because she always pictured me being married and having kids and everything, and I was just like, that can still happen. It's like, Mom, you don't know, that will still happen. It's like, no matter what. And it was just hard for her because she never expected it from me. And I guess it was kind of just like out of the blue. And then I kind of explained what happened that weekend, because she was kind of confused and like curious about it and wanted to know what happened. So I told her. And at first it felt like she wasn't okay with it, and I don't know, it like, I completely pulled myself away from her, and I was trying to be like the perfect daughter, and I tried to do absolutely everything I could to be like perfect and like not hurt her anymore or whatever, not disappoint her. And my mom invited my girlfriend of the time over for a weekend, and the entire time it was kind of awkward as we really didn't know what to say or like how to act, and we didn't really know what was okay and what wasn't. And there's a fly, you can see that fly, oh my god. And my mom basically made it very obvious that she didn't want us to sleep together, like in the same room. And I don't know, it was kind of just like a really tense few days, and it's really bad. I just remember being scared the entire time and crying almost every night that week. And I remember feeling like so worried and scared that like I was gonna lose my mom, and I'm gonna cry. And I don't know, I kind of like, I feel like my mom was really only trying to like be supportive or not like say anything so I wouldn't do anything harsh, because I guess like, I don't know, I guess she was still scared about like my mental health and everything, and that's a completely different subject. We're not gonna talk about that today. And I don't know, it was kind of just like really awkward and horrible. And then I guess over time my mom got more okay with it and more used to the idea. And I don't know, my mom just really didn't care after a while and would like text her all the time, and they would make like plans and stuff, and my mom got okay with it, and it wasn't really a big deal. And after that, it was kind of just like I felt so much freer because I didn't have to hide who I was, and I didn't have to hide like anything. I could just tell my mom, or no, my mom already knew, or like trusted that she'd be okay with it, because that was like the scariest thing I had to tell her. That was like the worst thing, is hiding. And I don't know, I feel like that just her knowing and being supportive changed everything. And because my siblings were supportive, and all my friends honestly didn't care. Most of them, when they found out, it was like after we were already dating, and or after we like just started dating or something like that, and they found out at some point, and it's just like, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. They're like, oh well, okay. They're like, they surprised for like a second, and then they're like, whatever. That's pretty much how it is, especially in high school. And like nowadays, everybody just doesn't really care. It's kind of like, you do you. I mean, I guess it depends on where you live and who your friends are. Mine were really supportive. Mine honestly didn't care, but I mean, most of my friends are kind of gay. Like, there's someone on the spectrum, so. It's kind of interesting. Of course, they're not gonna care. And as far as like my dad, he doesn't know, or I don't think he knows. I have no idea if he knows. Whatever. I don't care if he knows or if he finds out or whatever. I just don't want to tell him because I don't want to deal with that. And my dad's side of the family doesn't know, as far as I know. Like, to my knowledge, they do not know. Which I'd rather like keep it that way, because I'm not really close with any of them, and it wouldn't really change anything if they knew. Besides, like, some of them will probably react really badly, and I'd rather just keep the peace. And I don't really care to hide from them, like, whatever. I don't see them besides for Christmas and special occasions. Like, I pretty much only see them at Christmas, or if there's like a birthday party. And even then, it's just like if it's one of my siblings' birthday party or like my own birthday party. That's like the only time I'll ever see them. So it honestly this isn't really a big deal for me not being out to them. And grandparents wise, they don't know, but I want to tell them, but at the same time, like, I don't really need to at this point in my time in like life. I don't know. Right now, it's not really like a big deal. Who knows? Who doesn't? I mean, school wise, I've always just been like, oh, like, I didn't care. I really didn't care who knew. I used to make jokes about it all the time. It'd be one of my classes, and then I'd just talk about something and be like, oh, my girlfriend. They'd be like, what? And I'd be like, that's right. Didn't expect that. Or like, bring it up in like casual ways. That way, like, everyone knew. Or, I don't know. One time, I'm just like rambling now, but one time there was a kid in my class who obviously liked me, and he would flirt with me all the time. And I was like, dude, I don't like you like that. And he's like, well, you could. I was like, no, I'm gay. It's like, I will never like you like that. And he's like, well, I mean, you might one day. And it's just like, no, honey, doesn't work like that. And then he told like everyone in my class. He's like, oh my god, Nicole's gay. And it's just like, hi, what's up, guys? And I have a shirt that says books make me happy, you not so much. And every time like somebody in my class would see it, they'd think it said boobs. And I was like, they'd be like, your shirt says boobs make you happy? And I'd be like, well, I mean, they do, but it says books. And like kind of make like jokes about it. Like, you gotta have fun with it sometimes. Like, whatever. As far as sexuality goes, I feel like I I've come a long way knowing between like being confused and I don't know, like I didn't feel comfortable being gay, like being bi, because I felt like that wasn't the right label for me. And as much as I hate labels, it helps in some ways to be like, hey, I'm part of this community. I have all of these people that are like me to interact with, and like that will support me no matter what, and that will be okay with me, and that like know what I'm going through. And I don't know, I just feel like sometimes it is nice to have a label. I feel like that's the only label I really have besides like white and female. But I feel like sometimes it's nice. Like for me, when I was bi, I wasn't really comfortable about it. Like I was just like, this isn't right. Like I don't think this is right. Like, but the entire thing was that like I dated a guy and had a thing with another guy. Like I had to be bi, but it gets to that point where you're just like, it kind of like hits you that that's not what you are, and like it kind of, once you start like accepting that like you're one thing and not the other, it kind of feels more okay, and like you feel more comfortable about it, and more like, at least for me, like once I started saying like I was gay instead of like bi, I was just like I felt more like myself and more secure in my own body, and like I felt like I knew who I was instead of being bi, because like I'm not like bashing any bis, because I have a few friends that are bi, and like go you for being bi, like that must be confusing, like damn. I feel like being bi was just like a security blanket for me. Like it was kind of like a, hey, I kind of like, it's like I like this girl, but I mean I could like a guy. So I feel like it was kind of like a security net for me personally, to be like, hey, you like this person now, but maybe in the future you will like this person. And it made sense because whenever I see like a celebrity that's hot, I'm just like, yeah, I could marry them. But like I also know that that's like the heteronormative ideals coming out, where like you have to be with like a hot guy or like a cute guy or whatever. So like I know that's what it was. Or like I even find myself whenever like I see a guy do something stupid or like funny or something, I'm like, oh, I could just marry him, but like I would not be happy marrying him. Like it's kind of just like a thing that automatically happens, and I apparently scratched myself. It's kind of like a thing that just like comes out automatically, because I did spend like 17 years being straight. So yeah, I don't know, I feel okay now. It's not as scary to talk about as I thought it would be. I don't know. If you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any like questions about anything, honestly, just hit me with your questions and I will be as supportive and helpful as I possibly can, as I have had experiences and you know, I'm still learning, and maybe I can learn from you guys too. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted to share my story so it's out there, and for other people out there that like need help to come out, or like just want to know that they aren't alone. Like I'm here. I'm definitely are not alone, no matter how much you think you are. And I felt alone pretty much my entire life. Like you aren't alone. There's other people. There'll always be somebody. Even if you think that you'll never find somebody, you'll find someone. Like, I don't know. Just leave any comments or questions down below, and my Instagram's in the bottom thingy and like the description, and mine and Amy's, like the Instagram we both share that we both post on and we both will like answer DMs from is down there. Honestly, just go to it. You don't even have to follow us, like whatever. Just DM me, DM one of us, leave it in the comments. If it's more private, honestly, make a new Instagram account. I'm not gonna like come find you or whatever, like whatever. I'll probably just go through your pictures a little bit and be like, oh, you're cute. Or be like, ooh, you take really good pictures. Or like, you know, probably go through like a few pictures. But if you guys want to talk about anything, or you just want to rant or talk to anyone, or if you just feel alone sometime, or if you just need somebody to listen, come to us. We love listening. Me personally, I will listen to whatever story and I will give my best advice. And even if you don't want advice, then I will just listen. And I will just, if you come to me and like rant about this person, I will be like, okay, well. And like, I will be just as mad at them and hate them just as much as you do. And like, rant with you about this person I don't know. Like, honestly, just, you can come to us about anything. I hope we made that clear. Like, we're pretty laid back people. Like, we'll talk about anything. Well, whatever. If there's a topic you want us to talk about, leave it down below or message one of us or something, and we probably will talk about it. I don't know if it'll be up like the next day, but we will talk about it. We'll make a video. I'm gonna go because this is 30 minutes now. And I kind of have to be, so bye guys.